Hey peeps, man, I'm sorry for leaving that daggone last video on like a little cliffhanger, but I know y'all didn't want to watch like 30-40 minutes of me swapping out the subframe. So enjoy this video, and Jose, we started. So y'all will see that video soon. Enjoy. Now that we got the rear subframe all painted up, all the welding is done, it's time to remove the old one and start transferring parts over. Man, it's so awesome working on old cars like this. In order to take this rear subframe out, all I had to do is disconnect the brake caliper. I'm hanging it up to this rear suspension. All I did was disconnect it from the bottom. So I hung it up using this little strap here. And then all we got now is like 4 bolts and this whole thing is gonna drop. So let's get to work. No issues. I mean, I got the V8 in the front, all that turbo stuff. I don't know if I pull that subframe out, if this junk will fall off the lift. Not today. All right, now that we got the S13 subframe and then we got the S14 subframe, we can kind of eyeball a few things and kind of get an idea of what may be different visibly. One of the first things I've noticed, of course, which is pretty obvious, is that the S13 is a 4-bolt rear design for the rear to differential. S14 rear subframe is only a 2-bolt design. And then also here I noticed there are like 3 holes, no big deal, but I was like, man, I noticed that. This one here has like 1 hole, and then it's more flat. Instead of being concave, it has this little divot here for the breather, for the differential. But overall, it visibly looks about the same. Actually, you know what, matter of fact, there is one other difference. This right here is raised up a little more on the front part of the lower control arm. This one here it's raised up as much, it's more like flat. So when we do all this stuff, I got to make sure things like the lower control arm is compatible. This lower control arm for the S13 got this bigger opening here. And then if you look at this one, it doesn't even have that opening. It's got almost like a slot grooved out of it. So I think I would like to use that, but I may have to try to convert my energy suspension red bushings over to this. Don't know how much of a pain in the butt it's gonna be, but I need to do that. And I would like to reuse this here, the knuckle. So let's go ahead and get started disassembling this. As you can tell, this junk got a bunch of rust and stuff on it. Some of the bolts had rust also there. So I went ahead and put it to the whiz wheel, clean it up. And I'm also using some of this stuff right here. Everybody can't stand it, but the industry I work on, you deal with a lot of tight bolts and strip bolts and having to drill and weld nuts to remove stuff. Bump that, I don't care how messy it is. I want that easy button. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hit that easy button. go ahead and install our new reinforced rear outer tie rod non-adjustable bar. I don't know what it means. And then real quick, these are the same. This is one of the reasons why I'm swapping everything out. My axles were too long, and check out what happens when your axles are too long. This axle end up compressing inside of here, meaning that it goes this direction, and look what it did. It basically bulged that out. Let me get another axle real quick and I'll show you the difference of what it's supposed to look like. See the difference? That one bulged out to the point that the inside grease start coming out, and see how this one is all flat? Luckily enough, we're not using this axle no more. It is a 350Z axle. I knew it was too long, but I wanted to get my car running, and it really wasn't too big of a problem until I put the slicks on and I start making more power, meaning that I got more squat in the back. The more the back end squats, the more this shaft goes into this inner CV boot deal, whatever it's called. We still got a lot more work to do, and my back is hurting.
I broke my back.
A vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
And the other axle, this is the one I'm trying to keep. That one looks fine. I forget if this one is a TT or if it's a Q45 axle, but the other one I got in the shed, and we'll probably be installing on that side. All right, fam, one of the things I want to do that I've never done before is swap out the ball joints. As you can tell, the bushings are trash. Dirt, grime, water, moisture, everything has gotten inside of this puppy. So I want to replace it. So I went on Rock Auto, picked up this brand Quick Steer. I think it was like the cheapest, but not the like lowest cheapest. So let's see. And then also I picked up this ball joint service kit from Harbor Freight, the Maddox version. And this is everything that it came with. Probably need to read the instructions real quick, but we're going to attempt to use this and see how it works with swapping out the ball joints on the lower control arms. I don't got COVID. All right, let's see if this thing gonna work. Not bad, Maddox, Maddox, M-A-D-D-O-X-X. Good job, Harbor Freight. Good job. That jump popped right on out. So let's see if I can put the new one in. Hey, and also too, this new one, it comes with a grease cert in the bottom. Man, that jump look like it's too tight. It look too tight, dude. I don't know how I feel about this. We'll see if we can push it in there. See, man, that's why I like aftermarket stuff. If this junk hold me up, dude, I'm gonna smack Quick Steer. I put like a little bevel on this, man. Let's see if that makes a difference. This ain't something that I need to have to do. Quick Steer, y'all suck, man. Y'all don't even know how to copy somebody's stuff. I mean, that's all you doing is copying somebody's stuff. You don't even know how to measure, man. Quick Steer, you don't even know how to measure, man. All right. In a time like this, only option I have, or the only thing that makes sense to me at this particular moment, only reason I'm swapping this ball joint was because of the boot. I'm gonna steal the boot off of this, and I'm gonna return it, because that mug is trash, yo. Quick Steer, y'all suck. So I've already took the old boot off. I think I'm gonna throw a little bit of universal grease up in here, pack that mug tight, and then we're gonna tap this on and we're gonna put that thing back in there, because I ain't got all day. I ain't got all day. What in the world? Oh man. Now, how you supposed to do this with one hand? Huh? How you supposed to do this with one hand, dude? This ain't working. and I ain't got cold either. One thing I didn't take in consideration is the fact that once I put my spindle back together, the parking brake cable, it actually runs through the frame. That oblong hole right there. If you come back on this side where I boxed everything in, there's no space. So what I'm gonna use is a drill bit, hole saw. It don't got no markings on it. Hold on, let me measure it real quick. I'm using roughly like a 2 1/8 drill bit with the hole saw. And all I'm gonna do is drill me a hole out. This daggone hole saw is trash, so I'm gonna have to go get one. And it's probably gonna be a Milwaukee. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and see if we can crack this housing open, drain this fluid, see what it look like. Make sure it don't look like the oil in the Nissan. And check our backlash and all that kind of stuff. Well, actually, we'll just check the ring and pinion mesh up and stuff. And then we'll go ahead and pop the new cover on and put some new fluid in it. Dang, look at all the nasty dirt down there. We don't got any metal material stuck on the magnet, just the normal stuff. There's the magnet at the bottom, so it don't look like we caused any damage as far as the axle being a little too long on the passenger side. This is actually pretty awesome. This differential it's got an LSD in it, but it doesn't look like it's a viscous. It looked like it might even be a torsion. It's got a bunch of gears in it. Let me get my light and show you guys. Yeah, if you've seen stuff like a J30, the J30 diff, usually this whole system is sealed, and they got something called a limited slip fluid that goes inside of that differential, this case piece right here, and it's sealed. You can't never get into it or to replace that fluid. But this got actually a bunch of gears all the way around it. So this is pretty cool. I mean, I've already changed this cover before, but I never really paid attention to that last time. So I would like to replace these bearings, but I don't have them on me today. And I think I might replace those whenever we do like a full rebuild on this thing. I'm gonna let this thing drain, hit it with some brake cleaner, and let's check the wear pattern on it. Slap some of that Prussian blue on there. Now we're gonna rotate it with a little drag on this. And we're gonna do it in both directions. Go the opposite direction. Look like the wear pattern is a little bit on the inside on that. I forget if it's the thrust or whatever. And the same thing on that. I'm gonna send it. There is one more thing I want to do to this area right here before we install the rear subframe. Wow! That's right, I told y'all in advance, your boy's going to E85. So in order to do that, we need to get our genuine GM flex fuel sensor. I'll throw the part number somewhere up in here. We also got this handy, nifty, difty, pifty, sifty flex fuel sensor bracket. Look like it's made out of some kind of 3D printer composite material. Shout out to our boys Engineered Freely. And then in order to make all this work, I got this custom fabricated plug and play Holley ethanol flex fuel content wiring harness from my local boys represent Chris over there at Crawford Racing. So let me go ahead and slap this stuff together and figure out how we're going to install this stuff. And real quick, man, you talking about a nice piece. Check this out. So if you look on the top of this flex fuel and look at the side of the sensor, it's got a little lip here and then it's got like two little tangs at the bottom. How about these jokers got the indention built into this daggone piece of PVC pipe, and that joker just slide in there just like that, and then this little bracket gonna hold it into place, man. If I flip this joker out, this thing right here is still gonna be in place. And paying attention to detail, look how they got that concave daggone hex head bolt, and they even CNC'd that. I need to get me a 3D printer. I cleaned everything up while I had a chance, redid the return, secured the feed with a bushing clamp. I got my flex fuel sensor bolted up. I ended up using one out of the two bolts right there to bolt up that purge relief for the tank. I was able to slice or cut. Basically, I was able to cut this fuel line in half. I didn't have to buy nothing. And of course, I got my Crawford Racing flex fuel harness routed and ran right up there through the top. All I gotta do now is run that over to the computer, plug it up. I don't remember if I mentioned it before, but the purpose of swapping from the S13 to S14 subframe is because you get to use the Q45 diff, which is a stronger diff, a better diff, but most importantly, you get to use bigger and stronger axles. This particular axle here is one of the ones you got to use. This comes from the twin turbo 300ZX. This item is so rare that if you do find one of these, you're talking about probably $300-400 bucks. Right here, I got a side-by-side comparison. The 350Z axle is now the new kind of like cheaper, not too hard to find type of upgrade. One is because the spline count is bigger than the factory, but it's not quite as big as the spline count on the Q45 hub axle and the TT axle. I got this here that I got to swap over. This is my TT hub. I actually hit the gold mine.
I love gold.
And found a TT at the local salvage yard. But this is an example of how much bigger and how much beefier this thing is. The shaft on this is about 1 1/8 inches. So the shaft is about the same between the Q45 and the 350, but this is like the major big deal. Measuring this looks like it's around 3.5. Go to the TT axle, aka Q45, it's like 3 3/4, almost 4 inches. That is a significant deal. If you don't think that this setup is good enough, I might add a clip into here to show you exactly what is capable with a Q45 TT axle and the diff. I put that in this video. I'll put it right here. Yeah, that's pretty fast, right? So I ain't worried about having to go to no solid axle unless I feel like popping a wheelie. Maybe in the future, maybe. But I'm not too keen on doing that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in, and then I'm gonna take my studs out and put my studs in this. Hey, we done with the subframe install. You know I can't cancel this video out without showing y'all the final product. There you go, ignore that custom 4-inch catback. That's gonna be in the next video. But check out the diff. Everything looks good. One thing that I do want to change, the eccentric bolt that came out of the S14 was all rusted, so I used the S13. Evidently this section is a little wider, and as you can tell, that nut is all the way tight, but the bolt was missing out on a bunch of threads, so that's a no-no. Also, I didn't note that if you can see this, I ended up cutting the top lip off of the S13 subframe. Basically, the S13 had a solid billet aluminum bushing. I put it in the bandsaw, cut the lip off because I needed that much space in order for certain spots, like right here, not to hit. I've taken the car for a drive. One thing I've noticed is that the fluid is coming out of the breather. So I think I'm gonna take a hose and run that maybe up to like the gas tank area. Basically, I'm gonna try to make that spot a little bit higher. I might even better just loop it up there by the E85 flex fuel sensor. But also my axles are fitting, everything is working. And this afternoon I'm going to get an alignment. So I'm gonna conclude that video. I enjoyed every last one of you guys that watch my content. I hope it's funny. But in the meantime, man, try to show some love, because we need a lot of love in this world right now. There's a lot of confusion, a lot of hate. And see me, I like to occupy my time with working on cool cars like this. Hey, I'm a free man, and I hope you are a free man or woman as well. So love you, and we'll check you on the next episode. 4-inch catback.